Welcome to Cage Minds. I'm Mika Frankl, and I'm joined by Duke City MMA's Jalin Fuller. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing grand, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, doing well. Just trying to survive like everybody else. How you been doing? It's been quite a few months since I've seen you.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm one of the lucky few who still lucky enough to have my day-to-day job comfortably intact. Just kind of moving, just going through these motions through this time like everybody else.
So how different is life? Is your schedule right now? I know you have children, so they're obviously doing school from home. You have work, you have training. It was already a packed schedule. How different is it now?
Not too different, actually. I'm actually just able to beat a little, I don't have to deal with as much traffic in my day-to-day now since we're all just stationed right here at home and then, bam, right off to the gym when I'm done.
Were you surprised that things have worked out this well?
Um, a little bit, a little bit. I thought there'd be a few more bumps in the road, but no, not really. Nothing major. So that's good.
Well, of course, we're talking to Jalin because he's got a fight coming up, going to be back in the cage competing for LFA. LFA is in Park City, Kansas. I'm going to be part of the LFA 94 card here the day before Halloween, or, what will be Halloween, not our normal
Yeah.
Halloween. And now at middleweight for this one. So let's talk about the weight class first.
So we're doing middleweight kind of because we just took this fight kind of on a little over 3 weeks notice. Like start of the month is when we found out about this, and it was offered to me at middleweight, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I'm confident in what I can do, and he is a real middleweight, like he's always fought middleweight, but I'm still confident that I can get him out of there just like everyone else.
Definitely one of the first things that I looked at looking at Miles Amos's record, your opponent, was that he did have 3 fights all at middleweight. So for you, we know that you're kind of a big welterweight. Have there been any talks with the problems that you've had anyway with getting opponents that middleweight could be a possibility for you anyway?
Actually, no, we haven't. We as a team haven't really had many concerns about it. I know I've also had a lot of catchweight fights. As a pro, I've only had one fight at 170, my actual weight class. So it's kind of good to get a feel of how 185 is going to be for me, especially, if it's something I may have to look into doing a little bit more as my pro career is really getting started.
Is there different expectations from you as to how you feel fight week and how you feel in cage without the weight cut?
I mean, I'm still a pretty big welterweight, so there is still a bit of a cut involved, So I do imagine that I'm just going to be able to be more impactful while I'm in there, like a little bit more forceful. I know I'm going to be the faster man. That's just not even up for debate. I'm already quick at 170. I'll be even faster fighting those guys at 185.
Was there much of a thought process behind taking the fight?
No, there wasn't much of a question. We pretty much already said yes. Then we looked up a couple of his fights, and then I was like, yeah, I mean, let's go. Let's do it.
But what did you find when you looked up Miles?
I found out that he is very grapple heavy. Push you up against the cage, drag you down, but what else is new for me?
Right, I think you've dealt with that kind of game plan before, right? Stop me if I'm wrong there.
Just a splish splash, a little pinch here and there, I guess.
Right, and you've trained with quite a few guys also, and some bigger bodies like Mario Moore, so those guys like to push you around in the clinch or try to, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Nobody dirty boxes like Mario Moore. That's just a fact. And then we've also got one of my newest teammates, Chris Collins. He actually is a collegiate wrestler in light heavyweight. He's yet to make his debut, but, I'm getting a type of pressure that this man simply is not going to give me.
Talking about a little bit tweaks, a new teammate added, heard that you and the Duke City MMA squad have a different gym?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we just split at the start of the year, as like literally right after our last fights. Our head coach Frank Gomez said, "Hey, I'm gonna start my own gym," and off we went. Nothing really more to it than that on my end.
Any adjustment to then the schedule or anything like that?
No, nothing. No, everything has just kind of flowed. It's not been an issue. Even when the virus and stuff first hit, we weren't in a set official location yet, so that didn't even hit us that hard either. We just got settled into our own location like last week, essentially. And everywhere else, we've been training in a temporary location that we were able to use thanks to our good friends at Pool Pro.
I didn't know officially that Frank Gomez had always been your head coach. You told me that before the interview. I'd always seen him in your corner. How did that relationship start?
Literally, I walked in at Latrell Yee's and just did one of the Saturday morning classes, which is where Frank essentially taught. And one day he just beat the crap out of me, and I was like, "Oh man, I want to, make sure that doesn't happen to me again." So just kind of like started bugging him and learning from him, and he just started correcting things on me, giving me his time. And essentially, I just kind of out of nowhere started walking around saying, "Hell yeah, my head coach Frank Gomez. Everyone should go train under Frank Gomez." And he was like, "Hey, stop going around saying head coach Frank Gomez." I'm like, "Nah, you're my head coach, so I'm gonna keep calling you that."
So how special is that relationship with him?
I mean, I'd say we have a pretty great relationship, more friends than anything. And I got a lot of respect for him, what he does and what he stands for overall. We like to get right into training, avoid all that gym politic type life, and just keep doing what we're doing.
And without me trying to pry too many of the secrets, what do you think are kind of some of the staples you'd say of the Frank Gomez teaching style?
It's just completely well-rounded. There's not an area we neglect, and everything that we do, I feel, is very high level. So, clearly we all know I have an inclination toward keeping things on my feet, but, we really haven't had to see me wrestle or be on the ground, essentially. But I feel confident training under Frank Gomez that when we do get there, because I know it's only a matter of time, I'm going to mark them there too.
I think it might have been the first or second Jackson's MMA series that I got to cover and be cage side that Frank was in the main event. So were you ever a fan of his before you were a pupil of his?
Actually, no, because I hadn't even started watching or being involved in MMA at that point. So I only got to get into it after the fact.
So did he ever give you the homework? Go watch my fights.
Actually, no, he doesn't really do that much. Actually, it's just like, hey, some of my fights are on Fight Pass. If you want to look at this and see what I'm teaching was able to be used in this real high level situation in the WEC.
Do you find any advantage to that actually that there's visual evidence of how what he's teaching works?
Oh yeah, 100%. And plus, he comes from so many different camps and different backgrounds. The start of his career was with the Diaz brothers up in California. This whole scrap pack, he was a part of that. For Muay Thai, he trained under the Wooden Man for a very long time, Muay Thai legend. And then came down to Jackson's Wink at the later stages of his career into the WEC and on.
So a great teacher. Talk to me about how you've been evolving recently. We saw you in action at the beginning of the year, but again, that feels like oh so long ago.
Oh yeah, I would smoke me from at the beginning of the year. That's just a fact. I've been able to evolve so consistently now since we did the split, and I'm just real thankful that he decided to do it. Every one of us at the whole gym, and you're asking like, what's my skill? Like, what have I learned since then? But it's kind of like a whole team like dynamic and everything has changed, which has just opened everyone's skill sets up more. We're more fluid than we've ever been, I feel. And I'd say the biggest part of my game that's rounded out since the split, I'd say, is my jiu-jitsu, probably.
I think like the best example, we have a lot of the super camps around, a lot of big teams, and the best example of success from a small camp has been Stipe Miocic, and even just in numbers of like a small team. Would you guys say that's what it is, kind of more of a smaller, intimate group setting?
Yeah, I'd say so, 100%. I think we're only running like 11 deep, I think. Yeah, very small, intimate group.
And has there been like a factor of that kind of individualized personal attention that the coaches being able to give has helped?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's not even up for debate.
And talk to me how that is beneficial for you.
For me, literally, you got somebody who's legitimately watching you, critiquing you, and someone who's got your best interest at heart. He gives us space to be us and not really try to mold our style into one particular way for the gym. He literally creates something that's literally for everyone. Like, that's something that he's done consistently since even before the split. He looks at you as a fighter and figures out what's going to work best for you, what works best against you, and gets you to start working on that. And there we go.
3-0 yourself right now, and we're talking about improving and developing, but we even haven't really got to see that much of where you were at. It's like 71 seconds in the last two fights.
Yeah. That's also part of the results of the training. We went from a 15-minute full-on decision in my very first pro fight to just starching dudes.
Does it feel nice to kind of have that mystique of not much tape out there?
I love people not having tape on me. I love it. And I love that they look up my record and they start to see all the knockouts and stuff building up. So they think, oh man, this dude's going to like come out blitzing. And I'm not really much of a, here I come, I'm going to blitz you guy. I'm like, I'm going to take my time, pick you apart. And, just so happens that when I choose to take my shots, it's not many that can take them.
At this level of the game, 3-0, 4-0, just starting off, gaining that pro experience, do you think you've kind of caused those two guys to rush at you with your composure, that they're not expecting to see somebody that calm at this stage?
Yeah, I do. At this stage, you see a lot of, hands down at the hips and just kind of chucking, duck and chuck and first one who falls, but then you get those guys who come in with a higher level of experience and they just pick you apart. Or if they're like a really high-level grappler, they just capitalize on those mistakes, get you down, and sub you out.
You have 2 knockouts, 1 decision. Miles is going to have 2 decisions, 1 knockout. He comes out to wrestle. So you're expecting to kind of see the same fight that you've already been through previously?
Yeah, pretty much. Not really expecting shots out in the open. Of course, I'm training for them, but he seems to do a lot of his best work up against the cage.
I love the nickname matchup in this one. We have the Gentelman against the Black Santa. Is that hard to tell your kids you're about to go beat up Santa?
I've actually just avoided the conversation as a whole. Dad is just gonna go fight. Yeah, they don't need to know what's gonna happen to Santa Claus. It's okay.
It's back on that LFA platform once again. We know you're trying to build the brand and build your star in the industry. So how nice is it again having this kind of platform?
It's astounding. This will be my 3rd fight with the LFA. And, I'm hoping to quietly have built my way up to 3-0 in that organization, which will really, I feel, put me forward for much bigger things.
So you see these progressions, even though it's taken some time, and this year has completely kind of been everybody in neutral. How has that done for you and for your ambitions and for your prospects towards the future?
Not much has changed, just delayed my takeover season, that's all. I got to fight, now have fought twice this year. And I'm just thankful for that. There's tons of dudes who haven't gotten to fight at all. There's some dudes who still are out there not even able to train. So, I'm just happy for where we're at. And yeah, not really feeling the effects of the delay.
So what should we expect LFA 94?
Expect me to knock another grown man out cold.
The expectations, that's where it is. Another knockout, another highlight reel finish.
Yeah, we're gonna finish this, man. I do not expect to go to decision. I will be vastly disappointed if I do.
Like I said so far, 66% finishing rate. What leads to getting those finishes? How are you able to find them?
It's just being aware, just always being aware of what's going on in the cage and not having those moments where I'm like, oh, I'm safe. You're never safe in there. When you're in the cage with another dude who's been training to knock you out, tap you out, get you out of there. We're all training to finish each other. So you should always be aware and expect that they're coming to finish you. And in those moments, that's when I'm going to get you.
Besides the awareness, is there a mentality that almost goes into it too, to looking for those, to taking advantage of those openings? Because you see some people, they're trigger shy sometimes.
I say the biggest thing is a lot of people, when they do try to pick their spots, they're trying to pick the perfect moment. And I'm like, no, just hit them clean when you see it. It doesn't have to be too hard. Doesn't have to be the biggest shot in your arsenal. Touch the man. He will fall. Man or woman, they will fall. All you have to do is keep touching them. No need to chuck them up and throw those home runs right out the gate. Just touch them. You'll get it done.
And how much calculated risk goes into the equation?
All of it. There's always a chance. If you can touch him, he can touch you. So there's always a chance. You have to step into that risk.
Like we said, it was back at the beginning of the year. So is there an excitement for you to get back to competition, not just to continue the journey and the pursuit towards a championship or something, but just to get back in the cage?
Yeah. I'm ecstatic to be getting back in there and doing what we do, Yeah, it's been too long of a wait.
And was there anybody that you needed to thank and shout out to?
Yeah, the entire crew at Duke City MMA, Frank Gomez, we're very thankful for you and what you've done for us, and my fiance, Alyssa Grace, who just keeps this whole ship sailing.
Check it out, LFA 94 on UFC Fight Pass. Jalin, thank you for the time, sir.
Thank you.